I'm Douglas MacAulay. I'm one of the teachers at Hoboken High School. I teach the video production. And today I'm going to read to you the history of movie making. Ready to go? This is more for grade levels 3rd grade all the way up to 12. And yes, if you're in my 12th grade class, this will be great for you to read. The history of movie making. Motion pictures before movies. Lights, action, but no camera. Centuries before Hollywood existed, people used light and screens to create movie images. In the 18th and 19th centuries, magic lanterns were popular in Europe. The earliest had a simple lens and used candles to light up pictures, painted on glass slides. But what magic! Eugene Roberts shocked Parisians in 1798 with the Phantasmagoria lantern show. His ghosts and skeletons seemed to leap off the screen. Later, gas-powered magic lanterns with several lenses projected travel, science, comedy, and melodrama scenes. The first picture show. Paris, 1894. Louis Lumiere peeps into an Edison kinescope projection machine. He's inspired. Paris, 1895. Louis and his brother, Augustus Lumiere, project the first publicly screened film using their own invention, the cinematography. It combined the strong lamp and lens of a magic lantern with a shutter and film reel mechanism. By 1898, the Lumieres had collected almost 1,000 short films. Most of them were real-life footage or news events from around the world. But George Méliès, a Parisian theater magician, had some fantastic ideas that would take film beyond reality. Hollywood. Hollywood, California is an excellent location for movie makers. The sun shines all year round. The nearby sea and the mountains provide great backdrops, and it's easy to shoot outdoors in daylight. Directors like Cecil B. DeMille started making popular feature or full-length films there around 1913. Other people, like the directors D.W. Griffith, followed. Griffith thought filmmaking should be an art, not just a business. His Birth of a Nation and Intolerance were spectacular epics. No one had ever seen such innovative editing and powerful camera techniques. The beloved little tramp. The fake mustache, the big shoes, the baggy pants, the worn-out jacket, the bamboo cane, the bowler hat, and the eye that spoke more than words could. No wonder the world loved Charlie Chaplin's silent little tramp. He debuted the tramp in a 1914 Mack Sennett comedy. In 1915, the tramp made the funny little hobo famous, and it made Chaplin an international celebrity. Quiet on the set. Wait a minute, you ain't heard nothing yet. On October 6, 1927, audiences cheered when they saw Al Jolson on the screen in The Jazz Singer and heard those famous lines. The silent movie era was ending. Talkies were all the rage. By 1929, the U.S. film studios had released over 300 sound films, making talkies presented new problems to movie makers. Enormous microphones would record any stray sound on the set. The camera motor made noise, so the cameras had to be enclosed in a soundproof box. It was sometimes difficult to project film reels and keep the film sound recordings going at the same speed. Still, movies had changed forever. Bright lights, dark shadows. A huge shadow loomed. Nosferatu, the vampire, stalks the victim. A sudden pool of light reveals the crazed sleepwalker let loose from the cabinet of Dr. Caligari. At the beginning of the 20th century, lighting had a bigger role in feature films. German expressionist directors especially made lighting an important part of their films. They wanted to make stylized, non-realistic films that explored people's inner lives and feelings. Bright, artificial lights and deep shadows help create the right look and mood. Unlike many Hollywood movies, Expressionist movies were not shot outdoors. They were filmed inside huge studios. They had elaborate indoor sets lit by foot lamps, arc lamps, and spotlights. Revolutionary editing. Shot. A woman climbs the broad stairs carrying her dead son. Shot. Soldiers mow her down. Shot, shot, shot. Guns, bayonets, stamping horse hooves. Long shots of bodies falling everywhere. Close-ups of terrifying faces. And then, the baby carriage. A wheel starts to turn slowly. The carriage with baby inside begins rolling down all those steps. The image repeats over and over and over. The Odessa step scene from Potemkin lasted about 4 minutes and 20 seconds, and it made film history. The film's Russian director, Sergei Eisenstein, was among the first to fully understand the power of film editing. He started a film revolution. A golden age. The 1930s opened with the Depression and closed with the World War. Movies from this golden age of film helped people escape or understand the troubled world around them. Hollywood turned out gangster films, horror movies, and musicals. Child star Shirley Temple charmed audiences, and the Marx Brothers made people laugh. Fred Astaire swept Ginger Rogers off her feet. But even Hollywood movies sometimes looked at hard issues. King Vidor's Our Daily Bread from 1934 told the story of ordinary people hurt by the Great Depression. In Europe, directors like Marcel Carné and Jean Renoir made films to celebrate the poetic realism of everyday life. Technicolor. When Atlanta burned in Gone with the Wind in 1939, it went up in bold, bright Technicolor flames. A tornado blew Dorothy from a black and white Kansas to a Technicolor Oz in The Wizard of Oz, 1939. The stunning color was made possible by a 3-film strip camera. Technicolor was an expensive, difficult process. Many films were still shot in black and white, up until the 1960s when one-strip color films were perfected. A new reality. After World War II, Europe was in ruins. Filmmakers faced difficult choices. Compared to the horrors of war, the glamorous Hollywood entertainment film was frivolous. In post-war Italy, Roberto Rossellini and Vittorio De Sica decided to film what they saw around them. They shot in real locations. They focused on people's lives during and after the war. They created the neo-realism movement. The films were alternatives to big, star-studded Hollywood films. Neo-realism movies inspired others to make films about their own lives and cultures. The big screen. In the 1950s, the movies had a serious rival, television. Hollywood fought back with movies that were bigger than ever. Audiences at CineScope Movies were impressed by the size of the widescreen films. At 3D films, moviegoers wearing special red and blue glasses screamed with fear when horrors from the House of Wax seemed to lunge at them. On today's big IMAX screen, a beaver may look 60 feet tall. Who's who in the movies? The director's chair is a familiar movie business symbol, but it takes many people besides the director to make a movie, like the camera operator, who shot the famous chariot scene from Ben-Hur, or the art director, who made sure Batman looked so mysterious, or the scriptwriters who wrote Macaulay Culkin's funny lines in Home Alone. The best in the business are rewarded each year with an Academy Award or Oscar. These famous gold statues have been given out since 1927. Movie marvels. Director Steven Spielberg leafed through books and magazines for inspiration before he created his famous extraterrestrial E.T. The director made a strange collage of all the images he found, including a photo of scientist Albert Einstein's head. Then he gave it to a puppet builder and E.T. was born. The 3-foot-tall puppet was made of aluminum, fiberglass, and rubber. It was stuffed with electrical circuits for remote control and could move 85 different ways. Models like E.T. and other special effects can make the wildest dreams and the scariest nightmares so very real. Animated cartoons. What movie star has big ears, a long tail, and squeaky voice? Mickey. Walt Disney created the mischievous little mouse, used his own voice as Mickey's in Steamboat Willie's, which came out in 1928. One of the first cartoons to synchronize sound and drawings. In 1937, his company produced Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, its first feature-length animated film. The Walt Disney Company still makes cartoons using hand-drawn and computer animation. The Lion King in 1994 had over 1 million drawings. And finally, a quote. What rules our destinies in this big comedy, the world? I do not know. I only know that it is good, whatever happens, to laugh at it. Charlie Chaplin. I hope you enjoyed this book. I know I did. Mom and Dad, you can look at this book on Amazon, or you can look at it on the Scholastic website as The Scholastic Voyages of Discovery. Until next time.